And we are wrestling with AEW All Out. It was last Saturday, and this is essentially their WrestleMania of sorts. It's their biggest show. Still not at the size of a WrestleMania, but what did you think of the show as a whole, Scooter?
Um, on the whole, I mean, it was a, it was a decent show. Um, there was some good matches. Actually, some great matches, quite honestly. Um, Again, I'm not. I'm still not. You know, buying the fact that MJF can main event a pay per view, and I'm not sure I ever will.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I kind of like. Yeah, I mean, based on the way it went, I mean, at this point, there there's nobody that's a real danger to John Moxley. I mean, clearly they're they're gonna put uh, Lance Archer, um, but again, it's another AEW pay per view where it's almost where it's the former WWE guys that come out on top.
Right.
And yeah, they can't they can't keep you know doing this and expecting not to be compared to them. So as just based on the matches, it was a good to you know just just under great show in terms of comparing it to the WWE. Maybe only a little bit of originality.
All right. What about you, Kaliko? What was your thoughts on the show as a whole?
The show as a whole was, I'll agree, it was decent, pretty good. But to me, it got marred by two of the dumbest decisions that they made,
Mm, yep.
in part of fucking with people's health, because th- that in itself is a hypocritical move that they, you know, do as far as WWE. That Matt Hardy shit to me overshadowed everything. The fact that they knew he was fucked up and they let him continue that match
Oh yeah.
is just a crime in itself. Because as much as WWE took heat on it with the Benoit shit, they kind of like took it to the extreme to where they overcorrected, but at least you could say that they were doing it on the side of safety. I don't know what the fuck AEW was doing and allowing him to finish that match.
And we'll
Um,
definitely talk about that.
and to me, that overshadowed everything. The fact that you allowed that guy to continue to risk his life in that match, to me, overshadowed. I mean, AEW is basically Mox's to lose. Uh, who else? And the fun thing, I was talking about little brother because we always talk about these things, and he made a good statement, and it goes inside with what Scooter was saying. All of their male champions are former WWE guys.
Yes.
What the fuck, bro?
And they're
Like,
current tag team champions.
and that's my point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of their all the championships that are
Yes.
held, other than Sheeta, everyone's a former WWE guy. So that tells me, like, bro, you're basically no different than what TNA's doing. You're no different than what, you know what I mean? And as much as, and I'm not knocking the show. The show overall was decent, but those were the things that overshadowed. I thought Thunder Rosa versus Sheeta was really, really good. MJF versus Mox, to me, just the size, there was no way I could believe it. I mean, granted, I could say the same for WWE when they had Keith Lee versus Adam Cole, but at least Adam Cole was the champ, and you know, there was that dynamic there. Here, you're expecting me that guy who did, like I told you, who didn't do shit to get this title shot, all of a sudden is going to be in the main event picture. Like, this is where I hated with that wins and loss matter shit, because you're telling me that it matters, but your actions are telling me that it doesn't matter. And that's where I have a problem. The biggest problem with AEW is, don't tell me wins and losses matter, and MJF only had maybe a handful of matches, maybe under 5 matches, and yet he's the number 1 contender? Fuck out of here.
Let's get into it. The first matchup was the tooth and nail match. Cedric Alexander's wife defeated Adam Cole's girlfriend.
No, that's wifey.
No, they're not married. They're not married yet.
Yeah.
No, I think they are.
No. But I actually really liked this match, even though Britt Baker lost yet again. I mean, if there was ever a match for her to win, I kind of felt like this was it.
No, this was definitely her match to lose. I mean, overlooking the fact that.
Sorry to interrupt, Scooter. They got married in 2018. They're married, motherfucker.
No, Wikipedia says they're just in a relationship.
Says that they married since June 2018.
Huh. But back to what you were saying, Scooter.
But I digress. Go back to Scooter. I'm sorry.
Wait, no. It's not. He's in a yeah, they're not married.
Yeah, I just forgot they wasn't.
See, that's weird, because I just looked it up. They said they've been married since June 2018.
It's girlfriend.
This is the weirdest shit.
But
fuck AEW. Let's find out if they're married.
Everything I've come up with is girlfriend.
That's fucking nuts. Because I just looked up they're married, and it says the couple has been married since 2018. That is nuts. Now we got something we can sink our teeth into. Yeah, but
not to mention, I just saw a picture of Adam Cole with his brother, who looks friggin' identical.
But anyways, back to you,
the fact that I gotta take issue with the fact that this match basically ended after Britt was drugged. with nitrous.
Well, I mean, if you're ever gonna get drugged, in a doctor's office is the best place, right?
Yeah, but in a wrestling match, that's like the equivalent of somebody pulling out a syringe and injecting someone. To me, but now I didn't see the match entirely, but did she start laughing?
She did not.
Yeah. So it wasn't nitrous. It was something even worse. You get what I'm like hinting at? That's
Murder?
yeah, almost just about attempted. Anyway,
Well, I mean, Britt Baker did start it. She did have a drill. She was gonna drill into Big Swole. So,
yes, but I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, we've seen we've seen those kinds of things happen in wrestling with thumbtacks and everything like that, and it's the actual use of. I mean, yeah, it wasn't real, but I just I don't like the fact that they went there when they could have probably done something, something probably just as entertaining. That was just for shock.
fair enough.
And yeah,
What say you, Kaliko? Especially that this was one of the first cinematic matches AEW's done.
Yeah, and they were doing that because Britt still fucked up. So, and I think that was just a way for her to stay relevant. Because I mean, you could make an argument she's the biggest name in the division. So I see what they were trying to go there. Yeah, they were trying to go for the shock value. The story in itself is kind of awkward to the point like me. I don't know. I don't get why they were beefing. I, what was the genesis of this? And that to me prevented me from getting invested. Other than the fact that they'd suspended Swole for damn kidnapping somebody. I guess you can like fuck somebody up and throw them all across the arena and damn near kill them, but and damn near run over them with golf carts. But you kidnap somebody and you get 30 days. I,
yeah. Plus, Britt wasn't medically cleared.
Well, that seemed just about the story of this paid preview now, wasn't it? That being said,
Yeah.
their whole medical team needs to get fucking investigated. That whole ethics and medical ethics and their ethics team need to get, because it's like a bunch of shit and I don't get it. I just don't get. I get it. The show must go on, but I'm always also like, to what expense, man? This is what I keep saying. Like, they could do all the flips and shit that they want, but Undertaker's right, bro. You got to tell a story. People didn't like Bret Hart because he was the greatest promo guy. He could wrestle and tell a fucking story in the ring, and that's where I think their AEW as a whole is kind of lacking.
that brings us to our next match. The Young Bucks defeated Jurassic Express. This was actually
Next. Did you really think that was gonna be ended any other way? Did
no,
you
but
really think?
I still enjoyed the match.
I mean, the Young Bucks, super kicking Alex Marquez on Dynamite was better.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
them turning heel this past Wednesday. What if that's a heel move? I mean, it's like they turned heel, and the the guy who we thought was going to turn heel 18 years ago finally did. So I mean,
Like
eh,
I almost expected the Young Bucks on Dynamite to say, "We just kick Stan."
Lance Archer won the Casino Battle Royal. Scooter,
Yep.
go ahead.
who?
Yeah. Here I was thinking, you know, AEW. One of the things AEW was doing right was using Eddie Kingston as this leader who was, bringing, two tag teams together to form, his own, army. And I I really thought Eddie Kingston was yeah, set, to be fast tracked, into the main event picture, and I it should not have been Lance Archer who won. It should have been Eddie Kingston. Imagine now. Imagine the story you could have built on an Eddie Kingston John Moxley main event. Their history together in CZW.
But
You know,
you're actually
it
going
built
on the
itself.
fact that AEW tells good stories.
But see, here's the thing: when it wouldn't necessarily be. I don't think it would be AEW in that case. I think Kingston and Moxley could really, do their own, you know, thing. And knowing Moxley, he would probably really want to, like, he would probably tell his own story, do his own thing, have more control, and this is just like I just and I never liked Lance Archer, so I don't think
Okay,
anybody did.
I mean,
Lance is a cool guy.
to me it just shows that they don't know how to build a star like or a contender. Because think about it, he's the next contender, and he got it only because he won the battle royal, not because he was running through the damn division. And that is the core of the issue. You can't sit there and tell me that wins and losses matter, and you're not building contenders.
Uh, yeah. Plus the fact that uh he also lost a TNT Championship match.
One of the only matches I've seen him actually wrestle in. Hence my point.
So,
And there they go, just hot shotting motherfuckers to the chip because they don't know how to go. Oh my God, this dude's been on a 10-win. The only person they did that with, and God bless her heart, was Sheeta, because Sheeta just happened to be on this roll, and they were probably like, oh shit, she's actually won a bunch. Let's make that a thing. But for the men's side, it's just like the Wild Wild West out that bitch. Like what the fuck?
I mean, yeah, but you know, I mean, uh, we got Matt Sydal making his AEW debut as the Joker.
and
I'm still confused as to why the grouping of card suits even matters.
Because it's supposed to be based. I thought that was like the double or nothing type thing, because that's where it was.
They're just throwing shit to the wall at this point when it comes to these matches.
Like, why are
And
they
speaking
clubs? Why are they diamonds?
and speaking of Matt Seidel, yeah, him and that shooting star press. Hope he's okay.
Well, it was probably just
Bless
God,
his
fine.
bless his heart.
it's a bad night. A bad night for people named Matt. And how many people
You ain't
do they have
lying.
under contract named Matt? They could build an entire stable with all the people named Matt in the company.
And that brings us to the next match. Broken Rules match. Matt Hardy defeated Sammy Guevara. Okay, so yeah. AEW's Doctor. I will say that Audrey Edwards, the referee, she did call off the match, which was the right call to make, but the doctor restarted the match after like 5 minutes, if it was that. Scooter, I'm sure you've wrestled before. I'm sure you've seen this kind of thing happen before.
Yes, actually. In fact, I saw it back with Pat Buck. Because he was the trainer at the time, and he was a heel, but he wanted to be a face, and he and it was a a fake thing. So his match ended prematurely when he was injured, and he came out to like apologize to the crowd, and boom, he was a face. Yeah. Um. As for you know, you know, seeing like legit actual like endings, it's like this injuries. Luckily, I'm glad to say I didn't see any occur, during my career. Um, but the fact that they they didn't pan away, they left them. They left it there. Like, have at least some decency to, you know, have a backup plan. Go to somebody like, and then come back to it. Don't, especially your pay-per-view viewers who are paying money for this. Make them feel like they're wasting their money over a a legitimate like incident like that. And you know this this brings up the Owen Hart incident
Damn,
where
you're going into it.
where at least the WWE had the good graces and common decency to pan away from what was a potential tragedy. This could have been we could have seen this could have been so much worse. They got so lucky that Matt didn't end up paralyzed or even dead. And it's there's nothing elite about a man being rendered unconscious legitimately the hard way and allowing him to continue the match. I don't give a crap if he says he wants to continue. He's not in the right frame of mind at that point. You stop the damn match and you explain what's going on. You don't put it into the story.
Do you think that this happened because AEW is inexperienced in this
That
field?
that's probably a, a lot of it. It's my I mean, you would think with some of the people they have that they would know better.
Well, let me ask
I
you
mean,
this: do you think that they're going to learn from this mistake, or do you think they're going to continue to repeat it?
God, I hope they learn from it. I mean, you could also compare this technically to the Owen Hart Steve Austin match from from SummerSlam '97
Yeah.
with the stinger, and they just ended the match. Like they could have just actually counted Matt out,
Oh, absolutely.
like legitimately, and just done it.
It was lose or leaves. If Matt loses, he leaves AEW. Well, he would have had to
Yeah,
left anyway for injury. You could run
yeah,
him back into the storyline.
yeah, and plus you could eventually, like you could probably explain that there's a clause in the contract that that you know he that since he didn't have the ability to get up, he could, it's all about. But it was to quote, to using a nice new word, a flustercluck.
Oh, that's a nice new word.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we could debate this of what they could have done all night. Uh, it's not going to change the fact that they let what happened happen. And I
Yeah,
definitely think a lot of if people didn't have a new view on AEW after that match, they really need to open their eyes.
And it's compounded by the fact that people are starting to understand how head injuries are now due because of the NFL and because of the head collisions and the long-term symptoms from them. You would think that there was someone that would have known better. And yeah, they could have did it a million ways. It could have been like, "Yo, I lost, but you didn't pin me." Like the if I lost, the loss was either by pinfall or submission. Duh. Duh.
but
That was that was your out. And then also, if the ref stops it, it makes the ref look weak because you're sitting there telling me the ref don't
but
her decision ain't final.
it was a last man standing though. There was no pinfall or submission.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
I was about to say, but even with that though, even with the ref calling it off, they overrid her. So how can I take her seriously as a ref in any other matches?
That's actually a really good point.
yeah.
Because of the simple fact that I can't take your decision to heart because I see motherfuckers override it.
And the referees are supposed to be, the ones that are really keeping keeping track out there. This is probably one of the things, if not the most, that fans really don't understand or tend to forget is how much the referees are actually doing. They're the magician's assistant.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, direct. The wrestlers are directing you one way, but the referee is the one really making sure that everything is flows correctly.
Correct. Alright. Our next matchup is the AEW Women's World Championship match. Akira Shida defeated Thunder Rosa to retain the championship. Hands down, one of the best women's matches in AEW history. What say
Yep.
you, Kaliko?
That was the best women's match in AEW history. It had to come from somebody and an outsider. To me, I mean, Sheeta's gonna run. She's the division, and I'm assuming, I would hope that this would be something where they could do a work with AEW or NWA, because NWA, um, they have a okay roster. I mean, I could see a Sienna or a Allison Kay beating the brakes off Sheeta, like straight up. But it just depends on how much AEW loves Sheeta, because Sheeta got that Instagram following, so it's like a cult at this point. But I mean, where does Sheeta go from here? Who's the next challenger? Because she's essentially, by her rising to the division, she wiped the division.
Right.
So that's where my question would be for her. Like, what's next?
I suppose she could fight the chick that needs to find Jesus.
Uh, I think they would bring in more talent to fight her. I think styles make the fights, and I think someone of a Allison K build, who is a much bigger woman than she is, would be a good a good matchup. Just me personally. Uh, but they need to get that division up ASAP, because it's DOA, bro. That thing's DOA.
Anything you want to add to that, Scooter? Shida and Rosa?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Yes, this was the best women's match AEW has ever produced. I feel with Thunder Rosa being mentioned that NWA's got along with the United Wrestling Network um, just released the card for their primetime pay-per-view with Nick Aldis and Mike Bennett in the main event. However, Thunder Rosa not booked for this show, but
That is a crime.
but yes, nothing more to say than this is and probably will be the best women's match AEW will ever produce.
And I think that was probably the best match on that fucking card.
I definitely agree with that. And Thunder Rosa, friend of the show. If Thunder Rosa, you will always be invited to come on Wrestling with Entertainment if you ever need to speak your mind. And we will get to our next match. Dustin Rhodes, Scorpio Sky, Matt Cardona, and QT Marshall with Brandy Rhodes and Ali defeated Mr. Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Stu Grayson, and Evil Uno with Anna Jay. Any comments from anybody?
Poor Anna Jay. That's all I'm gonna say. Poor Anna Jay. This is her big break, and now she's stuck with Jobber Incorporated, and like, just I mean, how can you take the Dark Order seriously? Like, seriously, because the way that they're being booked, it's like on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again. Dark Order loses. Brody Lee gets mad, yet he doesn't kick anybody out. So it's on again, off again, on. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, what the fuck?
I mean, maybe a win here for the Dark Order would have kind of strengthened the fact that, maybe they're dangerous, but, when has AEW done anything that kind of made sense? Especially on this pay-per-view.
With Sheeta and Thunder Rosa, that was probably the only ace in the hole they had. And I bet somebody that was a producer was like, leave that fucking match alone. You do not touch this fucking match.
AEW World Tag Team Championship match. FTR with Tully Blanchard defeated Kenny Omega and Hangman Page to win the titles. WWE guys with Tag Team Gold. This was not a good match by any means. Scooter, your thoughts?
And it went 30 minutes, man. Like, everybody talk about, the revival or the brain busters, and it just made me want to bust my brain.
And it took 30 minutes for something. The only thing I hate about it is it took 30 minutes for something that should have happened 8 months ago.
What exactly happened in 30 minutes? Because it certainly wasn't a Hangman or Kenny turn.
I mean, it basically was just the genesis of because they've been fucking flirting it forever, and everyone kind of saw it coming, and they thought it was gonna come months ago. But especially after the Young Bucks match, that's when everybody thought it was gonna pop off. Right. But it just kept going and going and going and going.
Part of me really wonders if this is, and I doubt AEW is smart enough to even do this, if this is actually leading up to something of like a New World Order type thing, where, where, the man who was supposed to be, Kenny Omega, is to me the equivalent of John Cena in terms of what he's supposed to be in terms of AEW popularity. He's supposed to be the name you associate with the with AEW. And part of me wonders if this is building to something where Kenny decides he wants to take all the WWE guys and put them into one faction.
That would be pretty cool.
And then that's when you have the AEW guys win. But that's never going to happen.
I see where you're going. But my thing is, I think that this would be... I think this loss is to set up Kenny to actually have a singles run. And this is the reason why. Because we've all seen Kenny Omega, but we've not seen the cleaner.
Right.
It's just been Kenny And the one thing that we thought we were going to see when AEW started was the cleaner, the bout machine, the guy that has all these crazy matches, and it really, or these great matches, and it really hasn't manifested itself. Uh, be it whether he choosing to let others get their shine, or be it they are basically holding on to it. But this, if there were any moment for a contender to pop up, this has to be it. Because they ain't got no male contenders for the heavyweight title. And it just feels like Moxley's sitting on the hill with a bunch of people like just reaching. Like, eh. But in as much as you have all these contenders, you don't really believe that they're going to beat Mox. Omega is the only person where you could actually say, hey, he could actually win.
That's true. And that will bring us to the next match. Orange Cassidy defeated Chris Jericho in a Mimosa Mayhem match. He won by the way of throwing Chris Jericho into a vat of mimosa.
All that champagne and orange juice wasted.
Also, AEW
It tastes like
giving
maple
Mox
syrup now.
AEW giving Mox that CM Punk 2011 treatment. Being the champ and not main eventing. It's kind of peculiar.
Wait,
No, that wasn't the last match.
Yeah, Mox did main event.
MJF main evented.
Oh, I was about to say, boy.
Now,
boy.
I will say that I thought that with the fact that it was MJF, that Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho would in fact be the main event.
That would
only
really
because,
devalue the main of Moxley and MJF at that point, wouldn't it?
yeah, but it's a lose, in this situation. I mean, yeah, like Orange Cassidy in a pay-per-view main event. That's friggin' news for AEW. That gets people paying attention.
Are you saying this should have been the main event?
At this point, I'm probably saying yes, because you have Orange Cassidy, somebody, a talent that most fans, unless they were hardcore fans, wouldn't have batted an eye at. Going over the most decorated superstar in all of pro wrestling. Not for the first time, but for the second time. Now, that's when wins should matter. Like, and it's just like, and yeah, Orange Cassidy, I feel safe in saying that if there were if there were actual fans, and this was in an actual venue or arena, that more fans would have popped for Orange Cassidy's victory than Mox's victory.
I would agree with you there. He's slowly becoming a name that you could pop into a supermarket and people would know who he is.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like we're seeing the rise of several almost Kofi Kingston types.
Well, I mean, the match wasn't bad. I just might be a little spoiled on the fact that Jericho lost, maybe because I'm just a Jericho guy.
I mean, also, this is like, yeah, it's also the male equivalent of friggin', those pudding matches, gravy matches from, the Attitude Era in the late 90s, early 2000s. That's really what this is. I mean, still though, it's a spectacular moment for AEW in this case. And because of placement, they can't get the maximum effect this would have had if this was just placed in the main event one match later.
Right. Anything you want to add, Kaliko?
I could see Scooter's point with where it's especially getting over on the series or over the program of a Chris Jericho. But the bigger question would be now is where does Orange Cassidy go from here, and where does Jericho go from
Well,
here?
Jericho's going into the tag division with Jake Hager.
I mean,
He could always, if Kevin Smith needs him to play a Klansman again.
or you could hold a rally or a concert in Sturgis and but that's neither here nor there. But another question is how are they going to maximize this Orange Cassidy win? Because as much as we liked it, I mean, they might fuck around and give him a title shot at this point because they don't give anybody title shots. But to me, where does it go? To me, that was Orange Cassidy's highest moment. It's not going to get higher than that.
You might be right about that.
And that's where it's like, yeah, he's there, but now he needs to get to the next level.
And I apologize for interrupting, and I'm going to add on to that.
No. That's actually accurate. Go ahead.
That was where we would have to see Orange Cassidy start to evolve. So he's got to start to change. He's got to be more than the guy who could do moves with hands in his pockets. And this is the perfect jumping off point for that.
If he actually started talking after the match.
Yeah. Like, it's almost as if he's got a gimmick where he doesn't realize how much potential he has.
Exactly. And I just feel like if Jericho didn't make him have to dig deeper in himself to change himself for the long haul, who is going to be that guy for him?
Right. Well, that brings us to our main event. AEW World Championship match. Jon Moxley defeated MJF with Warlord to retain the AEW title. I mean, this could have been a really good match for MJF to kind of shine, and I kind of felt like it fell under that. Like, I mean, they gave him the opportunity to have a great match, and I don't feel like he kind of delivered. What say you, Scooter?
Yeah, he didn't. End of story.
What?
Because MJF, as much as everyone kept saying he's the guy where he's good to talk and get his ass kicked in the end. He's not the guy to where you actually believe he could come out on top by himself or on pure sheen wrestling. That's why the story went the way it went of him trying to basically not beat Moxley straight up, just basically breaking every rule to try to get the pin, get a quick pin and get a cheap one. So that's where I feel like he's limited as well, because as much as everyone is on his coattails and he's the flavor of the month over there at AEW, I mean Baskin Robbins, I mean AEW. That's the limitation of it. It's like, yeah, you could talk somebody. It's like what Bruce Pritchard say. You could talk and look good, but then the bell rings. And that's where it matters the most. To me, I think his highest match was basically beating Cody, and he really didn't beat Cody. It was basically a bunch of bullshit that happened for him to get the win on Cody. As rightfully so, to make him, seem more credible. But people took that win and went, "Oh my God, this guy could be the champion." And that is where I got lost in it, because he did nothing to deserve the shot in the first place.
Right.
Sorry, not sorry. So I agree with Scooter on that shit. Like, bro, he's good at talking and getting people pissed, but eventually you're going to have to wrestle and settle it in the ring. And that's where it's like, you got to come with it. You got to come with it. It's like the opposite of Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan couldn't really talk, but he'll wrestle your ass off. MJF can talk his ass off. Not really good in the ring.
Let's finish this on a good note. Scooter, best match of the night.
Shida and Rosa.
Kaliko.
Shida Rosa, hands, not even close. Not even fucking close.
Yeah. Mine's Shida and Rosa too. And that will conclude our coverage of AEW All Out. And that will be our show for tonight. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, and comment both on YouTube and Castbox. Please join us this Wednesday during Dynamite for Kaliko's expedition into a supermarket to find one soul that knows who Darby Allin is.
Yeah, let us pray.
Until then, you can join the conversation on Twitter. I am at JamesJ993. Where can they find Kaliko?
I am Kaliko. Yep, that's me.
You don't have to be so somber about it.
Well, I'm somber just because of that. We were just spending an hour talking about that show, and there was really just one glaring, big, bright light in a sea of darkness.
Damn, Kaliko is in a dark place because of AEW. Thank you, AEW.
I mean that and house hunting. It's a fucking bitch. But that's neither here nor there.
See, you have to sneak up on the house and then shoot it.
See, that's the problem. Everybody got these low ass interest rates, so therefore the mortgages are low, and everybody's like fucking Oprah in here. You get a loan. You get a loan. You. That's where it fucks it up. But I mean, if I'm taking it out on AEW, I'm sorry.
And
Not sorry. Not sorry.
and where can they find Scooter Dust?
You can always find me at Scooter Dust and at UNBS Wrestling.
Yeah, the remix is coming back soon. Am I correct?
Yeah, 9/28/20, the remix. We're going back. We're going back to basics. And hopefully it's gonna be the remix in a new and inventive way.
I mean, hopefully I can get in the dome and chat on Discord at the same time. That was pissing me off, yo, because I kept trying to do it. It wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let me. I was trying, bro. I was trying.
Well, I mean, they
Yeah,
wouldn't even let Scooter smoke on Thunderdome,
yeah,
so I don't
yeah.
know how.
By habit, I picked up my cigar just for like a second, and immediately I hear in my ear, "There is no smoking or vaping allowed of any kind. If we do see it, we will ban you."
Damn.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
I can't imagine that you wouldn't get banned for talking to us, Kaliko.
No, it was just more of technical issues of me
yeah,
trying to set it up.
because it's it lags anytime you have something else that uses media.
That uses the media and
Microphone.
bandwidth. Yep.
Yep.
And that's where that was my biggest issue. I was trying my ass off, boy.
That's why I'm considering getting a second cheap machine.
I might just get a second laptop. It's like, fuck it.
And
Fuck it.
for Kaliko Yachts, Mitch Mayhem, who has gone missing once again, and
He's in
Scooter.
Roppongi Vice. You know where he's at.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
I don't care.
and Scooter Dust. I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.